North American Counter-Strike is back. Sort of. Stewie2K has brought back the love to a region in desperate need of heroes in a time when he wasn't even supposed to be a hero. He's come back from being a zero, from being a Valorant streamer, which is the lowest one can be really, from being on Evil Geniuses, a close second, back to the top. And not just the top. He actually won a trophy in Dallas, in North America. He has brought the love back. But how did he do it? Whatever you think about Stewie2K, he has some very solid qualities that make him an excellent teammate. Just, not on Evil Geniuses apparently. If you listen to any of the interviews from the G2 players and coaching staff around the IEM Dallas tournament, it's clear Stewie has one very, very important intangible quality. Vibes. Just immaculate bloody vibes. He's got an energy that this team just seemed to be lacking, a carefree attitude that seemed to elevate them and stop even Nico from tilting too much. We only saw him punch the desk like a handful of times. That's a few handfuls less than normal. G2 seem like a team that can get in their own head a lot, who tilt easily and get derailed. Remember that JL ace on Ancient at the Major? It seemed to completely break their spirits, their brains, and yes, their vibes. When G2 lost rounds at Dallas, they just seemed to untilt much quicker and easier. They seemed relaxed, like there was no pressure on them. That's a powerful feeling. All the pressure in the final was on Team Vitality because they were expected to win. Stewie2K's other great quality is his selflessness, which actually made him a great replacement for HooXi. HooXi is often a battering ram, a guy who's willing to go in first and be a foil for his stars on sight hits. Stewie2K is the same, and largely was one-to-one in roles on both sides of the game as HooXi. Stewie's selflessness and his ability to help get the best out of Naf, Elige and Twist on Liquid is what made him a very useful player for that team. The difference being then his personal ability was at a much higher level. Look, we're not going to beat around the bush. Stewie2K looked rusty. He'd probably admit it himself. His spray control doesn't look clean, his speed and his decision making were so good, but not the razor sharp player we saw 6 years ago. When we went looking for highlights for this video, we weren't inundated with great clips. But you're not with HooXi tournaments either. Stewie2K wasn't making montage plays, he was just being HooXi but with better vibes. It's kind of a bit unfair on both of them really, but it's the closest way to true we can say in a way that still kind of sounds fun. Sometimes you just need a change, and sometimes you need the crowd on your side. And that's what G2 had. So that begs the question, should Stewie2K stay on G2, and if not, where should he go? It's not that easy. G2 have always had the potential to win events. Let's not forget Cologne and Kato last year, even if that was with JKS. And you could argue that Stewie2K wasn't really a big part of it. I mean, his rating wasn't far off what HooXi does anyway. And now G2 could take the learnings of this event, mostly vibe-related learnings, into their next ones with HooXi. To bring Stewie2K in means cutting the IGL and making Nico or Stewie the IGL. We don't need to tell you that the long-term ramifications of these moves are never great, and HooXi, for all his detractors and his faults, is a very solid IGL with a good resume. Stewie did look mechanically rusty, and also showed how tough it is to be HooXi in these games. Taking him on off the back of a one event is kind of like signing a player off the back of a good World Cup. It might work, but it might also leave you with no real IGL and two guys who still aren't putting up huge numbers. Let's not forget, m0NESY went absolutely fucking supernova at this event for G2 to win it. m0NESY was the best player in the world by a country mile just to drag G2 to a win. Do you really think that kid dropping a 15.68 rating or whatever the hell it was wouldn't have mattered if they had HooXi on a 0.84 instead of Stewie's like 0.86? I mean, maybe, but also maybe not. But Stewie has proven he can be a valuable piece, and lots of other teams could potentially use it. We'd be surprised to see him at any of the top NA teams, mind you. Liquid have Ykinda already for the same roles, Complexity often use JT as their battering ram and he doesn't need to be replaced, and M80 seem to be happy doing their own thing. That largely leaves teams outside of NA and teams in need of a vibe boost. Think of a few. You might have to hear us out here. Furia. It's not been pretty with Kai, who clearly needs a little bit longer outside of this level of play. It's not his fault, but Furia seemed to become a bit of a vibe graveyard in desperate need of some digging. Whether they'd be willing or able to speak in English, we don't know, but Stewie is actually quite a nice upgrade for them on paper. FlyQuest could probably do with a cool head under pressure and someone to show them how to play at the top level consistently, for example. Even someone like Falcons could probably do with cheering up. It's not that ridiculous. There are places for Stewie 2K to show off and improve a team, but maybe less than you think. G2 probably aren't going to give in to the one night stand regardless of how romantic it was, and NA teams don't really need him even if the NA scene does. So what do you think? Should G2 give in and sign Stewie 2K? Should Complexity blow up their core to bring him in? And who should sign him? Or on the contrary, was this just one last job? And anything else he does from now is only going to be downhill. Why not just end on a high note? Let us know your thoughts down below.